after the election, John Boehner said that Obamacare is the law of the land, right? That was widely reported. He immediately started walking that back because the Tea Party got all up in his ass about it, and then he recently wrote. Here's an op-ed he wrote in the Cincinnati newspaper. He says the president's health care law adds a massive, expensive, unworkable government program at a time when our national debt already exceeds the size of our country's entire economy. We can't afford it. We can't afford it, okay? And we can't afford to leave it intact. That's why I've been clear that the law has to stay on the table. So he wants to put it on the table during these debt negotiations, during the fiscal cliff negotiations, the Affordable Care Act. And the reason why he wants to put them on the table is because we can't afford it. So I love that. We're the only country in the world, or the only industrialized country in the world, that can't afford to let its people see a doctor when they get sick. We just can't afford it. We can afford a lot of other things. We can afford another surge in Afghanistan and to keep everybody in Iraq. We can afford a lot of things, but we just can't seem to afford health care for working Americans. And so he's going to try. I think
we can afford it for the congressman.
We can afford it for those guys, for everybody except for the American people. Right. So this is a lie, by the way, that we can't afford it. So what he's doing is that's that subtle race baiting. That's what I'm saying right now. When they say we can't afford it, what they mean is we can't afford to take your money and give it to these poor black people who want free health care. That's what that said. That is all this. When he says we can't, what are you talking about? We can't afford it. Is he going to go home and tell his constituents that they can't have health care because we can't afford it? No, he's making it seem like we can't afford someone else's health care.
That's exactly right. And what's happening is that so they lost fighting Obamacare at the federal level.
Yes.
So now they're trying to stop this on a state-by-state basis.
Right.
So a number of Republican governors have basically killed Obamacare with respect to the Medicaid portion of it. So what the federal government does is, under Obamacare, they give states a big chunk of money to expand their own Medicaid program. Because in today's economy, there are people out there who just don't have any coverage whatsoever. So they need Medicaid to get just basic health services.
Right.
And these Republican governors, Bobby Jindal in Louisiana, Nikki Haley in South Carolina,
Kasich,
Phil Bryant of Mississippi, Kasich of Ohio,
Wisconsin.
These guys are saying no. We are not going to cover our own constituents.
We're not going to take your federal money. We're not going to take your federal money and give health care to our state citizens. We're not going to do it. We don't want it. It's free money. They don't even. It's not costing them anything. They just don't want to. They're not doing it on principle. That's their principle of not giving health care to the citizens of their state. I guess their bigger principle is pretending Obamacare is the devil. That's their bigger thing.
42,000 people die every single year from lack of health care. 42,000 people. That is more than 10 9/11s every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys act like, we just can't afford to help these people. They just don't seem to care. And this is a pro-life party. This is a pro-life party. Not only is it just immoral to let people die because they can't afford to buy some drugs to lower their cholesterol, or for a heart condition, or to even go to the emergency room, but this is a massive drain on their own state resources.
Yes.
Because
they're still going to go to
if your state is full of sick people.
Yes.
It's not good for your state.
Right.
And as the federal government is offering your state money and you refuse it to keep people sick and unproductive and dying, and I mean, how does that help your state? So I want all the voters, Republicans and Democrats and independents in all of these states, Ohio, South Carolina, Louisiana, Wisconsin, they have to vote these clowns out of office. Right. Because they're crazy ideologues who don't want to do things that are practical and sensible to benefit their own constituents.